surrounded by tech in so many ways. IDAM, ZTNA. What do these terms actually mean?
Skillmine is a made in India product, but for the world.
Don't trust anybody and verify everybody. Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode of our podcast series called Tech Baithak, where we discuss the latest trends in the technology sector and how actually organizations can befriend technology to gain a slight edge in their respective industries. My name is Ashwin Agrawal and I am the Executive Director of Skillmine Technology Consulting. Today we are going to be diving into a very crucial yet relevant topic, identity and access management, or commonly known as IDAM, and its role within the broader SASE framework. Joining us here today is Nishikant, who is our product specialist for one of our homegrown IDAM solutions called Skillmine Authenticator, or as we like to fondly call it, Skillmine Auth. Nishikant has a deep technical understanding of IDAM as a domain, which makes him just the guest for our podcast today. Hi Nishikant, and thank you for being a part of this podcast.
Thank you very much, Ashwin. Happy to be here.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Trying to be better, I would say.
Yes, same here.
And to be all, I mean.
Yes.
Thank you nonetheless. So Nishikant, just to set the stage for this podcast today,
Yes.
why don't you talk our viewers, talk me through Skillmine as an organization? Because for all we know, Skillmine started off as a pure play IT services organization, and with time we have transitioned into a products engineering company as well. So why the transition? And I mean, plain and simple, how did we get here?
So, as you rightly mentioned, Ashwin, yes, we started as a service-based company, but we have pivoted now to a product-based company. The reason for that was, according to our vast experience within multiple organizations, we have actually encountered various problems and all the pain areas of our customers, which we believe can be better addressed via the solutions which we have created rather than the services which we are providing. Hence why we have pivoted right now.
To me, that seems a truly timely pivot, I must say.
Yes.
And so I mean, I would like to stick to the domain of this. Stick to the topic of this podcast,
Definitely.
which is IDAM.
Yes.
As I mentioned, identity and access management. Now, as a layman, I would say, or because we all come from an engineering background or a tech background. I mean, even if we are non-tech, we are surrounded by tech in so many ways that we keep on hearing such terms like IDAM, ZTNA, SASE, all these jargons that we keep on hearing by everyone. Could you please break down for our viewers and for me as well, what do these terms actually mean in today's tech parlance? And what is their relevance in general?
Sure, Ashwin, and I'll be explaining this whole topics and various terminologies which we're using in 3 steps. So viewers, you can think of them in 3 categories. First, at the top we have the term called as SASE, which stands for Secure Access Service Edge. So it's a term which is coined by Gartner,
Right.
And it is coined for the cloud-based security framework. Okay, and the reason why this whole framework was created was to understand and give every industry clarity on what should be their cloud-based security, what will be their WAN capabilities, what will be their secure web gateways, firewall rules, policies, and at the core crux of it, ZTNA. Okay, so that will bring us to our second layer, which is the second terminology which you must be aware about, which is ZTNA. So as the name says, the full form is Zero Trust Network Access. Okay, so this is a framework or a rule where it's a philosophy where you don't trust anybody and verify everybody.
Don't trust anybody and verify everybody.
Exactly.
That's the key learning, I would say, for our viewers for ZTNA, which is never trust anyone and verify everyone. Am I right?
Exactly.
Right.
So, with this philosophy, to achieve this ZTNA and in the SASE framework, we use a solution which is generally known in the market as an IDAM solution. So that brings us to our third level, which is an IDAM solution. So IDAM solution is nothing but Identity Access Management Solution.
Okay.
So with all of these 3 terminologies combined, where you have the SASE at the top, then you have the ZTNA, the philosophy running behind SASE, which is Zero Trust Network, which is being handled by an IDAM solution. So all of these 3 combined provide you a digital parameter which will help you to connect securely to all of your application within your organization. So these are like the general rules which every industry or organization should follow to achieve a very secure, policies and having a very robust security layer within the organization.
Right. So for our viewers, I think these are the 3 steps as per Nishikant in his knowledge to achieve a very robust cybersecurity posture. Am I right?
Exactly.
Right.
Very well.
So, thanks for that, Nishikant. It's quite a departure. The explanation is quite a departure from what we keep on hearing at different summits and events and things like that. But I would like to request you to please also tell our viewers. So definitely we have understood that, okay, what is the approach to achieving a very resilient cybersecurity posture. But
True.
Between these 3 terminology, or if more than that, what is the correlation or the interconnection between these 3 terms?
Let me first tell you, for achieving an SASE framework, one of the key component is going to be your IDAM solution. Okay, so to better understand the correlation, would be to explain what exactly is the working of an IDAM solution and what are the benefits it's bringing to the picture. The key philosophy of any IDAM solution is to provide, right individual, the right access to the right resources at the right time.
Okay.
So this will be your key philosophy for an IDAM solution. So within this IDAM solution, we have multiple functionalities which an IDAM provides. So you can have your SSO, which is single sign-on. Then you have your MFAs, which are your multi-factor authentication, which you have seen nowadays. Like you can have your push notifications, you have your TOTPs, and you had your traditional ones like the email and SMS OTPs.
Right.
And on top of that, we have other various features of an IDAM solution, which we can discuss further.
One of the key components, what I understand, to achieving ZTNA as a principle or as a best practice is the incorporation of an IDAM solution. Could be any IDAM solution, but those practices need to be there in place.
Exactly.
Correct?
Any good IDAM solution should have few specific pointers which needs to be incorporated. Only then you can achieve a zero trust network. And once you achieve the zero trust network, it is one of the key components for achieving the SASE framework. So it's a step-by-step process.
Got it. It's a gradual progression, if I can call it that. Right. We are talking so much about IDAM. You've also mentioned some of the prerequisites that an IDAM solution needs to have for it to actually term itself, or for people or for the market to term itself as an IDAM solution. In your knowledge as a product expert yourself, okay, what would you say are some of the pain areas that are persistent in the market already, or that are persistent in the industry rather already?
Okay.
Because of which we actually require an IDAM solution.
Understood. Sure. Any IDAM solution should, help mitigate one of the major issues. Starting with one of the critical one would be user identity. Okay. So any IDAM solution should maintain a centralized repository for maintaining every user identity which is within the organization. So this term we call it as source of truth.
Okay.
So an IDAM solution always acts as a source of truth where any user which is there in the organization, any employee, whatever will be their details like their name, their general contact details, their addresses, etc., will be stored and maintained by that IDAM solution. So you have one single source of truth, the IDAM, working within your organization to provide, access to multiple applications which are connected to that IDAM.
Right.
So this is what helps you achieve a centralized management system. So this will help. This solution will help you, to ease the administrative work and everything. Now, on top of that, there should be some preventive measures which should be there in an IDAM solution, because now we can see that as we are, transitioning into a very digital-oriented landscape,
Correct.
we need to make sure that there are some certain data breach prevention policies, some compliance issue which we have to meet, right? So an IDAM solution helps you in that. It secures all your application, it enforces certain password policies and MFAs so that no person is able to access any unauthorized applications directly. And then we are also able to, via all of these factors, we are able to achieve the compliance of various organizations who have it. So like in the international market, we have the GDPR compliance or the HIPAA compliance, and in our India, the recently announced and the very well booming one, which is the DPDP Act given by RBI.
Right.
So there are multiple security frameworks which are being mentioned in this various policies and the compliances, which can easily be addressed by an IDAM solution. So definitely that will be the one pointer. And a very basic component which I have already mentioned earlier would be your SSO and MFA, which was already mentioned before. That is a key component where an IDAM should excel. And the last one I would say would be the password management. It's a very basic feature, but it is a very key requirement where you have a feature where you can actually manage the password of each and every user. You have various password policies which you can set regarding their validity, their resetting the password, their strength of the password, and you also are providing the users with the ability to do the self-services. Like what would come into your self-services? That would be your reset password, forgot password. So you need to give a very centralized and a very easy approach to the self-services, which are also secure. So that is what an IDAM helps you achieve.
Remember, I actually was speaking about Skillmine Authenticator.
Yes.
This is also our homegrown IDAM solution,
Yes.
right? And you yourself, being the product expert on that very solution,
Exactly.
you had a significant role to play in developing and probably enhancing auth for all we know today. I mean, that is the auth that we know today, and you had your own role to play in it. So, for our viewers and for everyone out there, can you please tell us what exactly, Skillmine auth is all about?
I'm actually very excited to talk about Skillmine Auth. So, as I mentioned earlier, Skillmine Auth is our in-house grown IDAM solution, which we have developed from scratch within our organization. And the patent and the source code is completely owned by Skillmine. So that has led us to, achieve a lot of things which our other customers or the other competitors were not able to achieve. So I'll just go step by step. First, I'll start with the philosophy of our Skillmine Auth. So Skillmine Auth is a made in India product, but for the world.
Okay.
So it is a made in India product, but we are catering to all the markets, whether it be in India or outside the India. And the second best part about this, as Skillmine Auth is an IDAM solution which is focusing more on the user management side and the identity part of things and access control. So these are the things which are actually common across multiple industries, because all the industries, I believe, are moving towards the tech where they are having digital databases for user management. So because of that, we have built the Skillmine Auth with the philosophy that it should be industry agnostic. So it can be, implemented in any industry where we have a tech background and where the user management is being applied using the tech. So this way, the two key features which you can take out from this is us being industry agnostic and geo agnostic in our approach.
Geo agnostic, by that you mean geography agnostic?
Exactly.
Oh wow.
So the one thing which I would say would be that Skillmine Auth already provides all the features which we have discussed prior to this, where you have your password policies, SSO, MFA, and user identity management, etc. But on top of this, as it is a completely in-house grown solution and we own the source code, that helps us to develop our own custom codes and custom connectors, we call it. So if there are any applications which are very specific to that industry, are developed in-house by that organization, if they have the code access and the API access, we can provide them the code for that and we can develop a connector specifically for that in-house grown application. Okay. So that actually enhances our reach and the ability to connect with each and every application by a lot. Because to connect an IDAM solution with any of your application, it can either be done by the standard protocols which are there in the market, which are your open source protocol, which will be your SAML, your OAuth, or your OpenID Connect. After these three protocols, we have some applications which do not support this. So for those, we can actually build the custom connectors for them. So that way, we have a very wide coverage area for our Skillmine. And with all of these features combined, the key benefits which our customers have taken away are the improved operational efficiency, because our Skillmine is not just an SSO MFA solution,
Right.
Ashwin. It provides much more. It provides the centralized user management, so you can automate your user onboarding, deboarding. It provides you RBAC, which is your role-based access control. It provides you different types of MFAs and security enhancements like device restrictions. So with all of these combined, Ashwin, we have seen our customers get a very good improvement in their operational efficiency, and this has overall led to a very significant reduction in the overhead cost which the customers have experienced.
So for our viewers, let me just break it down. So one was industry agnostic,
Yes.
meaning we are not catering to a particular industry,
Perfect.
but all industries in general.
Yes.
Could be any industry.
Hmm.
Secondly would be geo-agnostic in your words,
Yeah.
which I like to call it geography agnostic, meaning not just catering to the Indian market, but obviously markets outside India as well. And the third, and I think that's the most critical of all of it, is for the customer, I would say. It's actually bringing about a sense of operational efficiency, and at the same time, because of that, subsequently, we are able to save some additional costs for the customer, which would be otherwise spent on overhead
Exactly.
expenses or activities.
True.
Did I get that right?
Yes, Ashwin.
Okay, I'm actually catching up on my grasping skills. So
That's
yeah,
good.
and thank you so much. Quite an elaborate introduction.
Hmm.
But I'd just like to delve on that particular point that you just made, which was industry agnostic, correct?
Yes.
We keep on hearing these terms again and again. I mean,
Okay.
because in India, like the market is booming right now.
Yes.
Every tech provider is thinking of a solution, is observing some pain areas in the market and coming up with
True.
their own solutions
True.
in the market. So there is no scarcity of solutions, to say the least, is what I'm trying to say.
Understood.
But when you say industry agnostic, I mean, to be very honest, Nishikant, in my limited experience, what I've seen is not every organization in a particular industry has the same amount of IT setup as its peer. Forget about the peer. Even if an equivalent organization in a different industry. So, I mean, if I were to just give a very random example, the IT setup of a bank,
Yes.
for example, is very extensive
Exactly.
because their entire business is reliant on tech
True.
in today's day and age. Vis-a-vis, if I compare it to probably a healthcare industry or a retail industry or an education institute, I do not see any similarity between the IT setups across all these four industries. So I understand that you say that the solution is industry agnostic, but still, what are some of the industries, which are some of these industries rather, who have an immediate need of this solution?
So, Ashwin, before I delve into the list of what will be the immediate requirement,
Sure.
one thing I would actually like to explain regarding us being industry agnostic. It is that when we say we are industry agnostic, we can actually adapt to the various industry which you have already mentioned. We can adapt to what is their problem state, what is their use case, and we marry ourselves with that problem. Coming back to your question, which are the immediate industries which require an IDAM solution? The first and the topmost would be the finance sector, and where we have actually interacted with a lot of NBFCs, and they had a very specific use case and the problem which they have brought to us for as an IDAM solution. What one of the well-known NBFC has asked from us is that they wanted to do the user management of the third-party vendors or the field agents which they are bringing up within their organization. So these are temporary access to certain applications, and these are time-bound access which are dependent on the contract which is being signed.
Right.
And these are third-party vendors. So there should be an added level of security so that any of the core member resources are not being leaked in this case. So for finance sector, we have the NBFCs who have a certain use case which they bring into the table.
Right.
Then after that, we have the fintech industries. In any of the fintech industries, there are multiple applications which are being accessed by multiple people within the organization. But there are certain departments within the fintech industries where you don't need to share the access of certain resources as they are critical resources to all the members in the organization. and even outside the organization. So that is where the fintech industries have brought a use case of, role-based access control onto the table for us. Then the third one I would say would be the healthcare sector.
Okay.
So one of the recent major healthcare hospital which we have worked together with, what their use case was that they had a lot of applications which they have built in-house. So they didn't had any support for all the prior mentions protocols like SAML or OpenID Connect. So that's where our facility of providing custom connectors got the highlight, and where we were able to connect to those different applications that are built in-house and provide a very robust and automatic user management and role-based access control system. So where you had your auth working as a central management tool where you can create a new user and assign it the roles and the permissions to that user for all the different applications. Like for example, a doctor will have a different roles and different access control, a nurse will have a different one,
right.
And for different hospital they'll have different level of access, and finance team member or an accountants team member will have access to a different category of roles for each hospitals or certain states or certain districts of hospitals. Through there where we have seen a wide variety of customizations, and where we have seen a wide variety of integration which we had to do to provide a very robust system where you can manage all of these things from a central platform, which is our Skillmine solution. So these were the three major ones in which I can see a very big potential for our Skillmine. And we have also other organizations and industries as well, which can be your retail. So it can be your any e-commerce platform to manage different accesses, your distribution network systems, your warehousing and every different applications. Then you have your education sector, which is being booming recently in the tech side as well, where you have different roles of a teacher, of an administrative staff, of a student,
right.
And accordingly they will have access to different curriculum, different resources. So that's where an IDAM can also help. And then the last would be the automotive sector.
Right.
Because in an automotive sector, we have seen that they have a lot of patents and a lot of critical resources which are very key to the whole organization's success, where it is very critical for those resources to be highly secure, and there shouldn't be any data breaches, and they should follow a certain SOP to get access to that resources. So to manage all these highly important and highly critical resources, that's where an IDAM solution, which is our Skillmine, can help as well.
What does auth have in store for us in the future?
Sure, Ashwin. This is the most fun and exciting part, where we are actually, focusing on developing more and more new features for our product. So we first and foremost, we have to bringing the new AI-driven insights into our product. So it will be mostly based on your anomaly detections and user behavior patterns. That's what we are working on today, where using the power of AI, we can understand, if this is a user who is a genuine user who is to log in every day, or if it is a very malicious intent user who has gotten the access to the credentials and the MFAs of a different user and is trying to, cause havoc. So that's where the AI-driven approaches can help us. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we are already working on our connectors. So we can create custom connectors, but we are always expanding the list of connectors and the support which we have. So we already have Google Workspace, Microsoft Outlook, Salesforce, etc. So we are always expanding this list of connectors so that we can always have a seamless access to this application, which are used across industries.
Got it.
Then we are bringing the much more advanced biometric authentication systems. So that can involve your iris scan, your face liveness detection. We already have fingerprint and biometric solutions. So in that we can actually bring more biometrics solutions which can, and also more robust MFAs, which can be your unique keys, or which are nothing but your physical keys which you need to insert within your device to gain access, like the pass keys and everything. And we are always working on enhancing the degree of customization which you have in our product. You already have a very vast level of customization here. We are always trying to expand that, where you can customize different MFAs according to the situation which is being triggered. Like one thing is that if a user has to enter their email OTPs and MFAs and everything multiple times daily, or for accessing the same application from the same their office environment from their company issued laptop, so that becomes a cumbersome task. So with an AI-driven approach, which I mentioned earlier, and there is a term called adaptive MFA, we can actually mitigate this, where we can provide an ease of use to a user, where the auth application will know that this is a user accessing this certain application at this certain time from the office network with the company issued laptop. So probable chances are that this is not a malicious user but the actual authentic user. So I don't need to trigger an advanced level of MFA. I just need to trigger a certain passkey check or certain simple MFA which the user can easily enter and gain easy access. So that is one thing. And then this I say for the last is the major outbreak which we are trying to create, in which we are trying to implement within our IDAM solution, is the integration of PIM and PAM support. So what is PIM? PIM is Privilege Identity Management, and PAM is Privilege Access Management. With these two key concepts, if you are developing this within our Skillmine org, with the Skillmine org solution, you can actually manage the identity of the user, and you can manage the roles and access for the different resources within your organization. That can be your databases, that can be your servers, that can be your various RDP based laptops, or the systems which are across the globe, and you can have a various minute level and a major level of control within your organization for controlling each and every resources within your industry.
Okay. Wow, I think the future really looks amazing.
It is.
At this moment. And thank you so much, Nishikant, for all the insights. I think all the viewers, and I also, to be very honest, for a change, I think once I walk out of this room, I'll be a much more learned man. So thank you so much for the podcast, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for the insights, Nishikant, and thank you so much for your time.
Always grateful.
And a big thank you to all our viewers. Stay tuned for more updates. We'll be bringing more videos like this for your information. Thank you so much, and namaste.
Thank you.